All right. All right. Hey, Kev, what are you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, hanging out.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, let's just give a little frame for people watching. My name is Eric Mowry, and I'm here with Kevin Hodge, the founder of Hemp Adobe Homes. And we're just chilling like we've always been chilling over the last 4 years online, talking via Skype or via this way, basically because it was free, right? And we had to always stare at each other's beautiful mugs there all the time. So this is nothing new to us, but we love this Hangout feature that we're recording it all, and we thought, what a great opportunity to start these Hemp Hangouts with Kevin and I, just continuing this conversation, but sharing it with whoever feels like watching. So what we're going to do today is answer some questions, kind of give you a context of where Hemp Adobe Homes came from, where it's at, and where it's going. So we'll give you a little background, answer a bunch of the questions you might have, start to really connect and learn what we're really about and how we want to transform building materials here in America and how they're made and all the ancillary products, services, help, and benefits that come from this amazing hemp plant that's now has a whole new light, right? Shine your light, growing big, and we're going to talk about that. And then the second part, Kevin and I are going to focus on investors because that's definitely what we're looking for. We're raising capital right now, and we're looking for new partners, and we want to share some insider stuff of what's going on there. So that's how we're going to do it, okay? So Kevin, my man. So let's, a lot of people know you, and if they did Kevin Hodge Hemp, they're going to know a lot about you online right now because we make sure that's what we do, right? It's primarily one of my main functions here. But would you just land people, like, where are you at in the world? What's going on with you right now? And let people get to know you just a little bit. Say hi.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. Yeah, I'm a little closer to the beach right now than I was in Washington State, and a little town called Aberdeen, of all places. And uh, I've got an opportunity right now to either park this business here in Washington State or move to Reno. And I'm definitely leaning towards the Reno because it has a higher volume of people, which means incidents happen with people, meaning that we could be replacing all sorts of their products with hemp made products from all sorts of sources. But yeah, I have the opportunity of kind of a pick of the litter, but I'm leaning towards Reno.
I'm leaning towards Reno too, but these are all like these recent developments because nearly every day, I know I get the emails every day, people are coming to us with fantastic projects, and we're going to be digging into those later. But let's go, like, how did it start, man? It was funny, we were talking the other day about when we were kids and we used to build stuff all the time. And so Hemp Adobe and the nature of building has always been a part of your blood, right? It's run through forever as you as a little dude.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, we didn't have a lot, and so what we did have lots of, the abundance of, was growing up here on the coast, lots of trees. And if we didn't have the money to go buy something that was already pre-made in the use of something, like when I got in 8th grade, I got really, I kind of went haywire and started carving ducks and going hunting and getting into that whole thing. Well, it was easier just to go ahead and make a boat, right?
Make a boat, yeah. Let's just make a boat.
Just go make one, yeah. Because here's all this wood, and you just got to put your mind to something. You go, well, I can't afford it, but I have this, and throw the time at it and make it. Myself and my family have all of us have pretty much worked around wood products most of our lives. My mom did lots of ceramics, and as a kid, I had to go watch how these ladies would sit there and carve and do and make molds and all this stuff out of clay. And I was like, ooh, okay. And of course you can see, behind me all the beautiful stuff that's in there. Some of it's pottery, some of it's metal, some of it, but it all had to come from a mold. And so I was very heavily influenced with finding that the reverse and the actual product could go either way. And so that kind of allowed me to think in reverse as I see things in the reality. So when I see it, I know how to build it because I know what it looks like from the outside. and it just stuck.
Right, and so that idea of always thinking about the end in mind is this way that you always build, right? You always build, like to your aviation days, right? So talk a little bit about that. How did you get this aircraft experience? Where did that come from for you?
Well, when I went into service, I tested pretty high, so I got to pick my plane, I got to pick my duty station, got to pick my job, and I chose the aviation group. Basically, landed in a tactical squadron and a training squadron when we got the new AV-8B.
So you're working on Harrier jets.
Yeah.
Right. You're building them. You're literally building them from scratch, right?
Well, not from scratch. No, more on the repair side. There was bird strikes. Say a gear strut failed and a wing would dip. Something of that nature. We had to replace those panels. Either learn how to. Somebody in the squadron had to know how to do it. Okay, especially for field repairs. So if the shit hit the fan. Somebody knew they couldn't rely on McDonnell Douglas's British Aerospace to just magically, FedEx them a component that goes on the plane, okay? Because we're at war. So somebody had to learn how to do all this stuff, and the British Aerospace and McDonnell Douglas tech reps took me under their wing and said, here's a manual, read this. And I sucked that thing dry. It was probably about 4 inches thick. But it told me everything I needed to know. And that's where I started from, was playing around with epoxies and boron fibers and things of that nature. So it's real high-tech, high-end, current technology. And then I graduated once I got out of service. I went and built yachts, which was really, with slinging fiberglass, real low-end, throw it on, blow it in, do whatever, big stuff, Some bubbles were okay, and in the aviation department, there's no chance for bubbles. It was very concise work compared to, fast and loose, let's make a big boat.
So there's big aircraft, big watercraft, all with this composite molding, aviation technology, interlocking, fast, strong. Mm-hmm. So obviously we're building this up because we're going somewhere with this, where hemp is. But this is where it comes from, right? This is why I think it's so amazing to share, because you've been doing this your whole life, bro.
Yeah. The technology actually transfers across by utilizing the same, aspects of building or construction methods, right? You still have to read a tape measure, read it twice and cut it once, read it 3 times and screw it up.
I love that. And so then from yachts and stuff, then it went to the big greenhouses, right, and the growing of organic foods, because nature and sustainability, as we know, but others should know, is such a big part of your life too.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it gets transferred over from big monolithic items to small column type items, to where you could gain the strength by doubling down with twin layers of polycarbonate, for the sunshine to go through a greenhouse. But we weren't limited to the kind of greenhouses. Everybody's got these, Roman arches and atriums and hard angle jobbies and glass and all this crap, right? Well, we were talking about here. I'll show you. We've got this down to a science, right?
Right.
So there's Hemp Adobe. That's what it looks like. And
how big is that? What's the mill on that?
This is 20 millimeter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can hear it's hard as a rock. Okay. Right. Basically, it is. It's more like a ceramic. But we found that we could actually cast all these things into arched shapes to make superstructures that would tie in like framing. Okay, and we could use the same cheap material to do it.
So first the greenhouses, the experimentation with the materials, then adding the structures, living structures, working units, outbuildings, facilities, warehouses, connected, interconnected, and modular. This is where this started to go. Right. And lo and behold, here we are now with Hemp Adobe Homes creating full form structures, brand new housing in a way that's just not being done anywhere on the planet right now, and you're using advanced stuff, but we're also going very much back to nature in this sense. So
Yeah,
please just let Hemp Adobe Homes land with people. So tell me that big picture, top line. What is Hemp Adobe Homes?
okay. I would say the best part about it and the whole good part about it is between the two materials that are chosen, the Adobe side and the hemp, there's no design limitations for one. It's healthy, a lot healthier than concrete. The carbon aspect is way down there. I can't. We're hanging out, so I just don't have the figures, right here. But I'm sure that those numbers are accounted for, and I've seen them go by by me all the time. But I don't really pay attention to carbon credits and all that kind of stuff. But the material's exceedingly cheap, and it's really strong. It's really tough. So I mean, it's just the right material and choice. There's been papers written on some of the components for the health aspects and such like that. And the primary binder in it's magnesium oxide. And what this stuff like when everybody was going to the European Tradical or Hempcrete or whatever, right? The lime-based binder stuff. I went to the Chinese side of the house. Obviously, they were the oldest in the culture, okay? And they still have buildings that are roughly 6,000 years old in the Hunzhou province. They're big, round dome-looking. Well, they're not domed. They're circles, okay, with an inner core. And families have lived in these places in a seismic area for well over 6,000 years. I mean, it's like the ultimate apartment building. It just doesn't fall down and makes you gobs of money, year after year after decade.
So magnesium, a big component of what we use, and like you're saying, it's an old school material, one of the most abundant.
Actually called it terrazzo,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, please, yeah.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I didn't hear.
No, I'm just framing the fact that we use the MgO, the magnesium oxide, as a base material, which is one of the most abundant materials on Earth, which was what you were alluding to, is what the way construction used to be before cement, right? And now we know of limitations and health concerns with cement, but using MgO because it really works, it's superior, it's cheap, and then we combine it with the hemp material and the basalt and some of our other components. You're looking at something that's never been constructed in this formulation before, right? So your slurry is very unique, but then with the honeycomb structures and then the curvilinear aspects and the forward-thinking urban design plans and the fully connected homes and grow units, now you're really starting to get into some deep things. So really quick, people can go, oh my gosh, this is way deeper than just homes, right? And just than getting your house, which I love the way you always talk about buy your house for a car, right? What do you mean by that when you talk about that?
Well, the mortgage on the house, the payment on the house should be nothing more than because we're going to go to market at roughly $80 a square foot finished house, right? That means that you should be able to pay your house off anywhere from 10 to 15 years. Excuse me, it's about $360 to $420 a month. That's a car payment, not a mortgage. Done.
Let's do that one more time. So you're saying $80 a square foot, right, for a 1,200 square foot house, right?
6,000 bonds.
Less than 100 grand, which traditionals, what are we talking? What's the numbers that we just saw?
It's 118 to 140 per square foot finished American median priced home. 118 to 140. So I mean we're 1/3 off of that cost right off the bat. And it's net zero. All the structure will be net zero. I mean that you're not going to be paying a buttload of bills or a slave to your house.
How does that work? How does that work?
There's solar and thermal aspects. One is the insulation value of the product can be up to R80. Some areas don't need that kind of efficiencies because the temperature swings are not so great, right? So like an R40 or an R60 would be ideal because you're only traveling 10 to 15 degrees. And the thermal mass, the storage of the mass itself of the house, okay, is a thermal mass storage unit. And so the cold air doesn't come in and displace the warm air to kick it around. Okay? It's not being replaced because it's a thermocline. It goes underneath the hot air, but it creates these eddies. And so now it's starting to swirl around like this. That's also, considered convection because you're moving the air. All right. Well, that's how we heat and cool the house effectively. If something is hot sunny days, nobody cares, right?
Right.
If it goes above 85 or something, then people start to get, it's a little warm in here. So you just close the windows down. So instead of opening them up, right, and letting all the hot air in, you just close them down and it keeps all the hot air out. So it's just in reverse, right?
Yeah, so again, Kevin doing it the opposite of the herd. They're just doing it the way that, but it's so funny that it comes up so many times in our conversations because we're taught a certain way or we're programmed a certain way or told and repeated, and you're going, well, hold on, just look at this, and then it's never about your opinion. Sometimes it is, but mostly it's about the fact, right? You're like, dude, just look at this and look at the science, and that's what always gets me about you. You always do that. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's my simplistic thoughts, instead of, that's, I don't know, maybe that's just the weird part about me, I guess. Like, okay, well, how come you can't see it like this? And, maybe people are just drummed out of critical thought,
Sometimes, but I also think it's a challenge, right? It's like, it's the opposite of what my mom told me. My mom never lied to me. But you just didn't know. And so when you're trying to really change our consciousness, it takes a long time, right? It takes a lot of patience, and it's the point of, do we want to be right versus righteous?
I'll take right over righteous any day.
Right? So you just want to just, another one of my great friends says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them think, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna make their own choices, and that's what we really want people to do, and that's the beauty of Hemp Adobe Homes is that is we're giving people choice, right? They don't have to do conventional building anymore for a cost that's outrageous. They don't have to use wood in their home at all anymore, right? They can use a product and a crop that's no longer being demonized or vilified because of so many reasons we don't even get into today. But here it is, right? The first harvest season are happening in almost 80 years in our country. Are happening right now, right? Wyoming, Colorado, and others that we all have relationships with.
Yep.
And it's all happening right now. And so what do you think's changing that, dude? What's really making it so different in this world now that?
Well, I'm glad that it's these austerity measures or whatever, these draconian laws. I mean, there's so many different ways of saying it, and I think they're all just bullshit. These by sequestering this particular plant, which would have quite frankly, it would have stabilized our community and our economy for almost 80 years.
Right.
But obviously, somebody wanting to control this little piece of a pie by using this stuff over here, right? That just, for some reason now, it just does not make sense. It never made sense, but because of money and where these people were placed in to enact this, and then everybody kind of went, oh, I got to follow this law. They passed a law, prohibition, and this, that, and the other. Well, the first prohibition didn't work, so why in the hell would the second one work?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the first one went haywire because the commercial need and viability of the product was there first and foremost. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gangsters making a big wad of cash running over his mom everywhere, and the whole industry was spawned behind it. Where the marijuana industry, especially not the hemp industry, the hemp was just canceled. The government came in and said no farmers, blah blah blah, we'll slap you down. But obviously the marijuana industry had to go underground completely because there was still a need for the product. Okay, people used it, but they lost what they were using it for, and more for I just got possibly an escapist mechanism, or what other people may say. Like you're psychologists, psychiatrists, I don't know, those guys. They'll say, oh, well, it's because of this reason. You just want to get high. Well, in part that may be true, but there's other reasons for it that I understand that maybe you don't. Maybe the medical aspects of it. Maybe I need this thing around me in various forms, and you're capping me off to this kind of delivery that we give. So I can't eat it, or I can't do this, that, and the other. I can't grow it. I can't have it clean my environment. I can't have it, as in the future wear a T-shirt with it, or build a house from it, or a car. No, you cap me off down in the very grassroots of the black market of getting me high. When you look at it from a historical standpoint, you just scratch your head and say, man, I just got lied to wholesale, generationally. I mean, my folks are still, stigmatized by, this fear campaign and this, that, and the other because it's illegal. And yet we rape and scrape the earth with every other resource available. That makes no sense. You should have just left it there and used this because it's recycled, it's renewable.
And that's why we use it.
You scratch your head and you go, this is much of BS. This is not working anymore. And so that old stodgy method, means, and measures, they all need to go away. All of them. I mean, and quite frankly, I think a number of people are so fed up that if they pass another law, they do this, that, and the other. It's just lip service on paper, and here, follow these rules. You've already you've given me a stack of follow these rules. It's like, I honestly, I think a lot of people are, myself, I should just speak for myself. Yeah, I'm pissed off. No, I'm not following your ways of doing things.
And so that's what you're doing. Now you have the ability to give people other options, right? They have choice.
Yeah, and it's a non-toxic choice. It's a very healthy choice and a very cost-effective choice. It has all the aspects of it's never going to fall apart. It's easily repairable. There's one aspect of it that is just, I learned of this about 2.5, 3 months ago, that if I put basalt in this material, right, and it takes say it's in a hurricane alley or a tornado alley, it takes a 2x4 into it, right? Well, it's easily repaired, but it has a natural aspect of basalt is a dielectric. It doesn't pass current, and so the carbon aspect of the hemp drawing it in already into the building, continually pulling carbon in, inside and out, it draws in the carbon, which makes fullerenes, or they call them a button foam, which is kind of like it's bigger than a nanoparticle. It's more on the molecular level of size, okay? And what happens is the carbon goes there and it self-repairs the wall. Because it's just an ionic or electron trading. So one negative, or this is positive, and this is negative, and it sticks in that spot where the 2x4 was at and starts to repair itself. What's not to like about that?
That's a big claim when you go there with that. When people, every time I've ever heard you say that to a group, they always go, oh. Right? Because it's a hard one to take, right? It's really hard to get that one to land, right? And all your reticular activating system is going, oh, come on, dude, what are you talking about? Yeah. But do that one more time because it's really, really important. So the basalt acts, please, one more time. So
well, the basalt is like an insulator. It doesn't allow the passage of electrons. So so if it's not allowing anything, is it holding on to something? Okay. That's the only thing left, right? You either let it pass through it or it hangs on to something, right? So
it finds the space, right? And then it goes into those spaces, is what you're saying.
Right. So the magnesium oxide in the hemp attract the carbon. The carbon is being pulled in from these two components because it's always, the term is called vitreous or like glass. It turns so hard that it turns into glass over time. And the carbon elements and aspects of this is what makes that happen. A diamond is carbon.
There you go. That's how you look at it. So again, it just, because we keep talking about all these different components, and I think it makes people, it is a little overwhelming when you first hear it, right? So there's a lot of big claims. We talk about a lot of things, but the reality is that it's very base materials. It's very scientific. It's very ancient knowledge, right? This is nothing, again, we're not inventing anything. We're just going back to the way it's always been done and getting away from any kind of entities
Backbone
telling
drive
us that
those
you can't,
buildings.
right? Right?
Yeah,
Freedom is what we're talking about. We're talking about freedom of choice
yeah,
and the ability to do something for yourself, for your community, for your government, for your project, for your home, for your backyard shed, for your business, building anything. Because I love the term that we've been using is that we build the buildings that build the buildings.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
We're a hard good manufacturer of industrial building material that can configure into our base homes that we're showing and that we're giving amazing, amazing offers and deals that we have, and then everything else you can think of, right? So many different components about that. So it's really pretty fascinating, all the opportunities that are coming in front of us where people say, I believe in what you're doing. I stand for what you guys are doing too. I love farmers. I love America. I love hemp.
Yeah,
I don't
I
like to
want to
tell
make
what
some
to
jobs,
do.
keep some jobs going, so we can recreate the economy again. You know, to more on the free market side. You know, without involvement of those guys, that club. You know, whether it is big government or big corporations, coming in to run the same model, either a competitive based model or like what we're doing, we're a collaborative based model. It means everybody's got to learn how to play.
It's
You
pretty
know.
simple.
Yeah, yeah. That's one part I don't get from folks is like when I explain that the various aspects. They give me very direct questions and I answer them succinctly. Bang, here you go. Blah 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 blah. You sit there and you just see their eyes kind of. It's so funny, But I wish it wasn't like that.
Yeah, because well, we want people to catch it, right? Because we know that it's something you haven't heard this story before, and you haven't seen it in this way. And when we start saying we don't use wood and it has healing qualities and self repairs, we're starting to talk some crazy language a little bit. Maybe it's the term, right? So you
Well, I
got
think
to let. There's got to
the
be a
best way
scope,
to.
right? And that's why we're sitting here right now. Is like we could talk about MGO for hours, and we're going to actually because we'll be talking about other medicinal benefits here on these little hemp hangouts,
Mhm.
but letting it soak in, letting people get it. So what? How can people get it more? Like, what do you want them to do next so they can start checking it out and seeing if this is the way that I want to go, and is this really a viable solution for my next building project or my home or people that I know or my new business or my new tilt up, my new six wall that's going in. What should people start to do to really get themselves thinking like, wow, this could really be a solution for me?
Mhm. Um, Actually, basically, just I would, being a forward-thinking person, and this is making an assumption, but if people are real serious about this, is basically just pony up the cash, come up with a design, pony up the cash, get a budget towards it, get with an outfit like us. We see where some things can be changed around a little bit, get the most bang for the buck, and build the damn thing. I mean, because once again, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're changing the color of the wheel, and we're putting some extra knobs on it. That's really about it. I would, anybody's interested in doing this, you're not going to get a better house price. That's for sure. $80 a square with a net zero house. So that's where the no-brainer comes in. And a lot of folks have making that are affluent in that are making very good, healthy, solid choices. And they're going with other hemp products, hempcrete and the Tradical, the European stuff. That
We like all those dudes. They're cool dudes. We like all those
oh
people.
yeah, well you got to support those guys too. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, Hemp Adobe Homes is a collaborative business model. We can't sit here and go competitive and crap on the guys, right? Because there's a lot of room out there. Okay, if you're gonna go for a competition-based model, then you're gonna try to find that slot or that niche and then wedge out. Well, we just want to fit somewhere because there's enough of the pie to go around business-wise. We have enough natural disasters. We have enough new home construction. We have old, retro products. Okay, the hemp being grown in the U.S. is the next big push, and it's still 5 years out until we're in some pretty good, at least getting off the baby steps. So now we're walking in 5 years. It's going to take all that time to get there, which means we're going to have technology changing over. Textile mills are going to have to, look at the lignin-based products. The lignin is the glue that comes off of it during processing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of gums their machines up, and they don't like that, right? It's basically it's the lignin is how the easiest way to say it. It's part of the sap, but once the sap dries up, it's the glue that emulsifies and then dries. And so it's kind of like a hard wax. And it takes the accuracy off of textile mills machines, okay? Because now you've got a waxy finish up here, build up here. So when the thread comes across, it wants to jump up a little bit, and it can take the warp and the weft of the woven material off to where it looks kind of goofy. So that's why they don't like it. So they want to wash it.
So huge opportunity for someone to come out with a new advancement in dealing with this type of material, right? That has a more waxy, viscous.
Well,
somebody's going to do that. They're already doing it right now, right?
Well, yeah. Well, here's one of the max benefits that hardly anybody knows. Okay, so I went to the Wishkah distillery the other day, and I picked out some of the material that I have. Okay, I gave them some herd, and I gave them some bast. And I said, here, go ahead and brew your vodka. Test drive it, see what you want out of it. So he'll mash this stuff up, add the sugars, do the yeast, blah, 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 right? Brew the beer, brew the whiskey with it. And then what's nice about it is I can actually get the material back and put it back into our product. So it was used once, but now I can reuse it. That's the power of a product.
So you're getting a reuse on the very next year. You have a main use. You have a reuse immediately. The product's 100% reusable,
yeah,
in two different forms.
Correct.
So they get their material, they get their product and goods, and then we use the remainder to build our building materials out of.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing wasted.
Yeah. In fact, with my outfit, my complement should be anywhere from 15 to 30 tons of hemp per month. Okay, of using it to build the homes. I mean, if we get to the magic number of building a home per day, okay, and then the next goal is to get to 3 homes per day, we're moving a lot of material. And it roughly takes a ton of hemp to build a house at 1,000 square feet. Okay, so if I buy this stuff, okay, and I rent the material to these guys, say, right? I give them a ton to build to make some vodka with, and then I get it back. I have to dry it. Well, I can essentially rent the material to him. Okay, he can do all the stuff, suck it out, do whatever, right, and then pull it back. Well, also by the same token, if we had a textile mill, that would be pre-washing the material, so the lignins would be gone, and then they could use the material for whatever.
And then start turning it into a textile.
Correct.
I'd like to finish this part with something you just brought up about the usage and the supplies that can you talk to the growers and farmers here in America about what you really feel about what they're doing in this charge and how we want to connect with them in such a big way?
Yeah. Well, strictly from a government point of view, I mean, all farmers are businessmen. Otherwise, there's really no use in having that many acres, correct? If they're going to work the land and till it, they have a very deep connection with the land. But it also needs a deep connection with their wildlife. No farmer wants to be broke. It's just survival. Right? Nobody likes that. So, on that aspect, if you're getting, okay, say, $1,000 a ton, and your 1 acre, depending on the year, grew 4 at the minimum to 6 tons per acre per year, okay, or per cycle. If you're in a different area where you can do 2 or 3 cycles, that'd be great. That's even more money in your pocket. But if you can get $1,000, okay, per ton, and decorticated, ready to go, and then it goes into secondary processing, and you have 40 acres. That's not bad. What is that? That's four. We'll just say on the low ball, $4,000, okay, per acre. You have 40 acres.
Good days.
That's a nice payday. You didn't have to weed it.
And you don't have to weed it, right? And you don't have to spray it. And you don't have to.
Didn't have to do anything.
Labor it, right? Just a one-cut harvest. And
You broadcast the seeds and you moved on and you harvested.
Because we really do believe in America, right? We really do believe in that farmer mentality. I mean, we talk about growing stuff all the time, right? How green thumbs and how we love nature and always growing something. And this opportunity that they have, that many people are going to take up this crop, and they're going to have wins and losses, successes, struggles. But what we want to be there is for them, because we want to buy their product from them, and we want to support them with their own structures, with their own barns, their outbuildings, their homes, their communities, their split rails. You name it, we want to help build it for this American farmer who's now revitalizing with the most sustainable, the most healthy, the most beneficial crop on the planet. And our country is changing in the moment. It's like, that's what I love, is changing back right now. I mean, what you were talking about was a 5-year forward, and that's exactly it. But that clock starts right now, and it's going.
It's been ticking. It's been ticking.
Yeah, it's ticking, right? And so there's going to be a big wave. Lots of people are going to get into this market, and you're going to see an explosion, and it's going to be hard to avoid. And we're so happy that we've stayed in this conversation for so many years, and that to watch what's happening in the world now, it's kind of blows my mind. It makes me cry, actually, that we're going, damn, this is really everything we talked about and we're hoping for in legislation and a stroke of a pen is indeed happening.
Well, that's the one thing that I don't really truly agree with at this point.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this is my personal opinion.
Yeah, please.
For what it's worth, is, you know, I mean, what I don't get from a number of folks is that they're still saying that we need to ask permission from our government. And at this point, you know, everybody knows that you let the government touch anything and it turns to shit in a hot second. You might as well just walk away from it, because it's just going to sit there and smolder. It ain't going to do shit. So this particular growing hemp here across and then establishing markets, okay, letting the free economy ride again, do its thing, what it does best, okay. It stabilizes, it establishes, it penetrates, it massages, and it stabilizes over to where, okay, this product is everywhere. The only thing that changes is the shape and the color and what the application of the product is. I mean, we're not post-consumers yet. Okay, we're still at hardcore into the consumer, but we're waning. Okay, that consumerism theory of how Americans get all this, you know, Chinese goods and the world trade goods and all this kind of stuff coming in. But we got to have it because it's got right color, it's got right thing. You know, my next door neighbor's got one, so I got to one up that guy, and you know, the Jones Club mentality. You know, getting this product to replace all these other products that we were from what's the lowball number? 25,000 different products that Hemp can put out. Yeah. And I've seen somewhere 50,000. I was like, that's a stretch, but I mean, it's a possibility, right? And that's a lot of shit.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's consumerism again, then that's a lot of McDonald's Happy Meals. That's a lot of, you know, hemp dog products. That's a lot of T-shirts and jeans and textiles and aircraft and boats and the biggie right now for the Hawaiians, they're dying for me to do this for them. Is build the stand-up hemp boards, you know, the stand-up surfboard jobbies, yeah. And they want me to do that for them, and just pump them out, like, you know, thin air, pump them out. So like, yeah, we can do that. And go down the road, or you know, make a separate company that just does that alone. You know, that's cool.
Well, I think you'd like to be back into the paddleboard or the boating industry, being that your nature's and your heart's there so much. You'd be catching fish off it, though. That's what you'd be doing.
Yeah, I'd probably make another. I'd make some just crazy ass trimaran ski boat. That's what I'd do. You know, something you could turn a rooster tail on it and just blow you away. You know.
Dude, this was really great. Is there, and you kind of hit a lot of what we wanted to talk about. Was there anything that we didn't talk about in this time that you really like to share with people right now? Something that you really want them to take away in next with?
Okay. Yeah, open your minds. You know, open your minds to the possibilities of what this new industry, new old industry can achieve. Take an active participation. Be part of it. It's okay. I mean, let the stigmas roll off and the fear campaigns and all that crap. It never made sense before, and now's a chance to kind of do the sunshine in the daytime. You know, get out there and test drive as many products to support the new industry, and yeah, just be part of it. Know that it's going to be a good thing. We don't have to kill trees and suck oil out of the ground and do all the fracking and all the weird stuff, and go agrarian and plant the stuff. Free the weed. Let it grow. Just toss it. Johnny Appleseed on the hillside. Let it happen. Let the markets show up. The businesses will curtail to that. But yeah, be part of it. You don't have to go out there and wear dreadlocks and tie-dye clothes. I don't. It'd be kind of tough for me, wouldn't it? Dreadlocks.
It wouldn't be on your head, that would be for sure. So that was perfect. So that is exactly what I think we all want to hear, is just be open-minded, right? Mm-hmm. And then connect, and then that's it. So we just want people to go to the website, hempadobehomes.com, contact us there. All kinds of projects and products that we're discussing, and we'd love to discuss yours as well, because it's a beautiful time. We're so happy. And so stick around if you want for part 2, if you'd like to invest and partner with us too. So check this out. So Kevin, we've been talking about building and making homes and structures and all these cool projects that people are coming to us like, almost like 5 days in a row the website got some kind of lead for this multi-acre project, and then a city's calling and a state's calling, then companies with franchises are calling, and it's pretty crazy. So what I wanted to take a couple minutes was to talk, you and I, to talk to as if an investor was sitting in front of us right now, right? Because we are in a capital raising. We are looking for funds to get this company going, because what's coming can no longer be held down anymore. It just cannot be held back. All we need to do is land in our facility, which is already spec'd and ready to go, and you're ready to go as soon as we get our first person that will come play with us. And that's what we want to talk to, is potentially that first person. Mm-hmm. So I guess, Kevin, the question is, why would someone want to invest in Hemp Adobe Homes? What would be the reason that they want to do that? Why would I get excited about that?
Well, for the most part, being the part of the hemp marketing wave that's going on across the country, and as discussed, we're talking about a burgeoning, a beginning of the 5-year program, right? We're poised. We're well established in positioning to take this into a jumping level, a point of basically no return, where it's just you're free floating for a long time. So I mean, we're looking at being one of the few companies that can move a lot of hemp for lack of a better reason, in the economy. Okay, getting the flow, things moving. Okay, but building the buildings efficiently, quickly, beautifully, right? All the design aspects, and then moving all the materials into a net positive category of home. That the performance spectrum is so far off the charts, right? Or the charts are still being established, because that's where we're at. We're looking at housing deals. We're looking at disaster relief, issues, replacing a home quickly, efficiently, within weeks rather than months, and so it's like, unfortunately, you lost your house in a tornado, okay, and now you're waiting 2 weeks you're living in a motel room, your life is disrupted, all your stuff is strewn to, everybody else's neighbor's yard is strewn. We have the opportunity of advancing these buildings to those people quickly and efficiently back onto their same lots, and get their life back together quickly. We've already got the check, okay? So now we can address that to them and one up that house to where it'll never come apart again. Well, that's, a lot of people say, oh, that's scarcity, or not scarcity, but there's no planned obsolescence involved here. So these homes are going to be here for a long time, which is good. That's what you want. And to build the economy, okay, is to free up that much more money. So, we're positioned right now as a company to bring forward a number of products that are going to directly affect the economy. That's why if you want to get into bed with Hemp Adobe Homes, that's probably the main thing that I can say is that we are going to directly affect the economy. Myself and others, that's with us, or other companies that are using hemp products are going to directly affect the economy.
In a big way, right? I mean, we know we're both followers of Bucky, Buckminster Fuller, and about how one person, you and I, and a collective can make
Graham Caddy.
All are great people, right? That make this impact on the earth in such a positive way without doing any adversity to the earth.
We stopped. We didn't go down any further. We stopped at this level right here, and we're rebuilding from here. We're not going further down to come back out. No, we stop right here and we go back.
We stop cutting trees. We stop creating toxic chemicals in the earth and adding to the mix in landfills. We stopped using wood and rebar, and I mean, it just starts to go.
The
solutions that we're coming up with are so vastly superior to what's out there for such a reduced rate that this is what we're talking about as an investment opportunity, because smarter, faster, stronger, better, hot. What markets would you really want to pull on? An emotional drawstrings, saving the planet, saving America, farmers,
farming,
celebrity attached to it. I mean, there's so many components of what we're building so fast that we're show up in virtually every industry so quickly. So what I wanted to share, so thank you for that top line of maybe some passion and some why inside, the spirit of wanting to invest. Because are we a big public concern? Do we have millions of dollars running through? No. Are we at the very beginning of this? Absolutely, right? 4 years in the run, but we are right at the beginning of opening all of this, because the world is just changing right now. The first hemp crops harvest are happening right now for the first time in almost 80 years. Yeah. It's just happening, right? So we don't have to get it from China or Canada anymore. We can now be a direct manufacturer and directly relationships with all the people growing the product for even less than we were looking to acquire it from already.
Yeah. Especially, if you're looking at the long view, the 5-year picture down the road. Okay, I look at things as objectives and goal setting. So, to use the ladder and the house type of thing, right? So the objectives are the rung of the ladder, right? And the goal was to get up to here to the first level, and you pull the ladder up to get to the next and do the same thing all over again. That's the kind of the business mentality that I have when it comes to the performance aspects of this. Is that you're true to yourself, and you can follow with not just a dream, but now you're following your convictions. You're moving forward in a manner. And that 5-year span of time will allow the U.S. to finally come into realizing that, hey, we sold X amount. This year was, 300 million some odd pounds for, a gross aggregate of $600 million. Well, that was revenue that wasn't there last year. It's here this year. Okay. So, and then the next year it goes to, $12 billion. Okay, and then we get to this magic, floating number of 500 billion for the overall hemp U.S. market, right? And we're right there at that sweet spot where we can accept all of that, okay, in these various channels. We can affect that. We can take that material and affect the economy directly with that, because those numbers are already crunched out from the farmer. He sold that much good, but now we're doing secondary processing and reselling it again. That's the important part.
And so the 2 points that you really talk about, you're talking about a new economy. These are new dollars generated, right?
Yep. Yep.
And they're vast in their product delivery. So let's just a couple minutes share with me one or two. So like projects that we're working on, like in the next year, we'll be building our first 50 homes right here in San Diego, in a part of San Diego. We're slated to build our first 50 plus homes, which by the way, halfway through pays for the investment dollars that we're looking for.
Exactly.
Halfway
Yeah,
through
we're
that
back
build.
we're in the black at
Right.
25 houses.
Right. So within a year, we're looking to pay back our investors just through half of our very first project. But talk about some of the other like unique and fun things that you're working on. You're getting approached from so many different angles. It's really incredible.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about the product is there is no design limitations, and that's what really tweaks my muffin. Right. That's what I really like. Okay. Is that I can put on these when you have a material like this, and I want to put something else on it, right? I can emboss it right into the material, and it'll show out. I can change the color. I can do the artsy fartsy stuff all I want. But then I can take the building and turn it into a mushroom that is an actual structure or an office building for some tech company somewhere that had a wild hair and wanted a mushroom for a building. That's the cool part about this stuff, is that there is no design limitation. And that's why I like it so much, because I'm going from a liquid to a solid in any shape I want.
So specifics so we've got a food franchise company, right, that builds portable units and has restaurant locations, right? And they want you to build several different kinds of things associated with them because they're really into hemp and they really love the product and they actually have hemp in their name, right? So what kind of items are they looking for you to build?
First and foremost, it's if we're doing aquaponics, okay, that's the going concern. Hydroponics is kind of dead now, right? Meaning that nobody wants to mess with chemicals and do the mixology and all this, that, and the other, right? They want to stick with either organic worm casting tea, okay, or dirt farming, okay, with amended soils, worm casting. Or they want to go directly into the aquaponics, where the fish poop creates a thixotropic layer at the root layer itself, and then draws in the beneficial microbes from that thixotropic bacteria layer. So they're not feeding directly on the fish poop. The process is the bacteria is eating the fish poop and creating their own microbes for the plants to eat. Okay, and it's still considered very organic. And it is. And in that nutrient uptake, that makes plants grow. You can harvest plants within 30 days, okay? Or in a 2-week cycle, you can do rotational crops throughout a greenhouse next to a restaurant. They get their salad goods from their greenhouse. They charge accordingly, and they're making money in a cyclical manner. And so that's what a lot of these guys want, is they want the aquaponics setups, and then if they're doing like red spuds or something like that, then they're wanting the organic dirt, and they just mound it up high. So they're not taking up a lot of space. They're growing about 100 pounds of spuds, every 90 days, okay? And then they have that complement for that month, or a couple months down the road, depending on how much food they're moving. But it's on-demand food growth. That's what they're looking at. That's the kind of the tech end of it. Quite frankly, we've figured out how to turn a plant into a mechanical pump for the nutrient uptake to grow it up 2 inches per day and X amount up to 66% extra yield off of one plant in an organic fashion. So that's the kind of tech that they want with the greenhouse on their. So they say, hey Kevin, we want to build a new restaurant. I want a hemp dog cafe. I want it to look like this, and I want 2/3 of it to be a greenhouse, like an arboretum. You can walk through this thing and see all the techs going around and picking, somebody basically their salad right fresh from clipping, washing, chopping, and throwing it on with your favorite vinaigrette, And so that's the power of what they want is to show that we are a sustainable outfit. We're eating sustainable foods right now. We want you to have this experience. That's just one of the projects.
Yeah, that's the restaurant industry. You're reformulating and rethinking, not only building the entire restaurant itself and all the countertops and everything associated with it, but also then now showing them how to grow their own food in whatever land space requirements that they might have, right? Constraints, because like you're saying, we just go up. You don't need to go wide. We can go up and we fill in gaps, and then we incorporate inside the interiors to make some really beautiful displays and continuation of this theme, and so people really are connected. And the idea of being able to sit at your table and pick your own tomato is kind of a cool idea, but people are coming to us with those things for sure. So totally different, and maybe we can share a little bit more of the details, but in the state close by, in Arizona, say, they're looking at doing some really unique things with bus stops now, and then using Hemp Adobe research and development to be part of that. So share a little bit about that project that you're in discussions with.
Yeah, that came from Mike Corridon the other day. Hi, Mike. And he's a solar thermal guy from Solar Thermics, and he might have a potential contract with the transit authorities for having heated kind of bus lounges, and I took it one step further. I said, well, with your units, doing the thermal aspect of heating the couch, okay, at the bus stop, and your PV panel, let's just go ahead and have plugins for PDAs and cell phones and such like that on the couch itself, so you can just plug in and charge your own thing from an autonomous standalone setup that does all the advertising and such with the LCD screens on it that are also the windows, so they're two-way. You can see people coming, but you can still get the message of advertising from it. And so, these things would pay for themselves in no time at all. And so, I thought that was very intriguing that he talked to me the other day about that. And we could make those things super cost effective. I mean, there wouldn't be 10 grand a nut or anything like that. It'd probably be about 5,200, but over 1,000 of them around the state. That's a pretty nice contract.
And that's what they're looking to do. So the point is that, it's a project, and they're sourcing materials and sourcing vendors and suppliers, and there's a pitch, and there's a process, and there's approval, and it's with states and municipalities, which you know how that goes. But the point is, every day, I mean, just the other day, somebody goes, I have 570 acres in Ohio, and wanted to do this technical, self-sustaining community that we're growing. And then there was the other one. I mean, so many people, and they're not one-off buildings, right? They're multiple buildings, multiple acreage, lots of componentry going in, and we build everything associated with it. It's amazing. Major retailers looking at us to help build some very common shelters and outbuildings, and that's a big conversation we're having right now too. So the reason to share this is because there's so many things going on, and we can't even get into our rock concert next year, but that thing is going to be so crazy on the front end and the back end.
Yeah, we're working on that right now with just the show merchandise alone at roughly, I think the units are 5,000 units per show. 10 shows or better, for the hemp aid, farm aid type of aspect of getting U.S. farmers going, and then that's got a veterans home thing to it, which is a really nice contract, so that we can be building these net zero, net positive homes for veterans coming back from various incursions around the world, or already have been in country for quite some time, and they need a hand out. That what better way of doing it?
So what you're talking about, so just with the concert, we're looking at being the point people for all the hemp-related merchandising on the front end, from the stuff that we build to source partners that we create with, and then a portion of those proceeds are going to the veterans' home buildings, which we are building as well. So not only do we're on the front end making and creating an economy and money related around this big concert next year, we are also being the providers for these guys who deserve it the most. And just that whole idea of being front to back into that. That's
the way I wanted to rig it with this guy too. So he's been a Sony EMI exec for roughly up to 20 years. Lived in Japan for a long time, and now he's back in the States, and he's putting this together, kind of like a farm aid type of thing. And he just told me, he goes, Kev, this the merchandising market at the concert level is down to like three things: T-shirts, a hat, and a poster. Woo! Lots of stuff going on there. So I mean, just boredom in the music industry alone on the merch, right? And so it's like, let's do something different. Let's get this kicked up. Let's inject some new life into it. Okay. And then I had my girlfriend Patty talk to her about, in the gaming industry, they had to get those kids to come back, or all the gamers to come back, for like collectible items, tradable things, this, that, and the other, to keep this thing rolling and turn it into a monster. And so we got into talking about collectible items and tradable stuff and all these different things. And there was a lot of different products that came out of it. Okay, not just from Hemp Adobe's side, casting a pendant or little beads for bracelets and $1 trinket things that added up to 5K in no time at all. Right, in a single day, boom. Okay, you made $5,000 worth of orders. What do you do now? Let's keep building houses,
Right.
So anyway, that could be a garage operator just, here, you get 50 cents a copy,
So we talk about all those things, right? Products directly manufacturable or remanufactured through our process and relatables, but the really important thing to get to is the nature of the plant itself, with our relationships from the seed harvesting to the oil creation, to the medicinal aspects, the topical medicinal aspects, the fitness and nutritional aspects of the food itself, it being repurposed in all these different things and being a source for that, because quickly, through our efforts and through just who you are, from just being truth, you're really becoming one of the industry leaders in hemp, in industrial hemp, right? Hempreneurs, whatever the term that they're using now, right? You really are that guy. You are one of the leaders in this industry, and people are getting to know that fast, right? And so all these cool projects are trickling our way to start from, that we will be the spoke and hub for, and it's really
well, the hub aspect is one thing I really want to concentrate on too. Using the marketability of the knowledge that I have, okay, being able to get these different markets established, okay, and by having whoever throws in with us, right, they're gonna get both barrels in the face right off the bat. They're gonna understand that the plan is pretty flawless. You can't goof it up. It's already been established. We're already walking the path. Okay, we just got to put our head down in some places and go uphill, or head back and go downhill, right? But having a hub of various hemp-related products at the site where we do our manufacturing is huge. So that means we can distribute the seeds and the oils to the various food markets and things like that, the boutique markets are huge. We're going to be doing doggy beds of all things. Just like $12 in materials and these things, and we offer them for 40. They sell them for 80 and above. There will be no stop of that. People love these dog beds. Cats love them, okay, because it smells like catnip. You can't get enough of it, so you got a cat that wants to sleep in these things. But these are all trinket items, that add up to huge contracts over a long period of time. I always like to. I like the people that are going to throw in with us, okay, to understand that I'm looking at the exit overall. Build it, here's my back door. That's first where I'm coming from. And all the rest of this stuff is how to get to that back door. And I'm out. I'm walking away. And the markets are established. The things are clockwork. People, rely on the product and call for it. And you just make it and sell it. Make it and sell it. That's with any kind of business, is that you've got to have that cyclical money making ability. What was the old saying? You can't go broke making money.
nice. Keep it right there with that one.
Yeah, I can't.
That's it. To make it and sell it, and have fun doing it, and provide a ton of value to the marketplace. All of it, right? Systemically, philosophically. Spiritually, you bet, and with a lot of business acumen along the way. So let's talk about, and we'll be done, what our 1 year goal is. 9 to 12 month goal.
Okay.
Okay. Break that down. What's your plan? You have a very structured plan to this.
Yeah. Objectively wise, 0 to 90 days is to establish get the shop, set it up. Okay. Start putting out the samples that are needed for testing within that 90-day period of time. Get those shipped out. Get them tested. Get the ASTMs and all the certifications back. Okay, so that we can pass every code. I mean, California's the grill. Everything in the U.S. knows that for building code. So we get an international stamp of approval. California can't say boo. Everything tests out. Puts perfect. 90 days to the 180-day mark, 6 months. We get the prototype up, and we are creating panels at that point. Lots of panels. Okay. So now that once we toss these panels into the mix, okay, we're looking at the next building altogether. Building the building that we want to operate out of. Because if we can get into a Hemp Adobe structure, we know that it's net zero or net positive with inputs. Okay, meaning that we aren't going to pay any more bills for it. That building is now, there's no money involved left in it. Okay, and we get our prototype out for people to come and see. They get to see all the cool stuff that goes on inside of it. The smart home. It's on an app on your phone. It takes care of the environmental aspects, the food growth aspects, everything. And we get that out into the world, and we say, we're open for business. We're ready to go ahead and build as many houses as your architects want to process.
So you're saying we'll be shipping homes to end customers in 9 months?
Yeah, exactly.
In that 9 to 12 months, we'll be delivering our first homes, where we conceivably see them probably in disaster relief place areas, and some of these very first projects around the country that people have been requesting, where we're literally on a flatbed truck, your house will show up.
Yep, you got it. Yeah. And the goal, the first I would say the 2-year goal, once we've gone past 9 months, we want to dial in to where we have we're cycling the molds through so many times. Okay, 3 times a day to make a panel. Then we have, let's say, 24 molds. Okay, so we have 24 panel molds that we can augment. They're universal. They're 10 square meters, so they're 8 foot 2 and some change, and 13.1 long and some change. So they're big, right? And with what we can do is we can twist and bend these polyurethane molds in any shape we want to make that 25 millimeter skin, right? This is 20, so we go a little bit bigger, and to encapsulate that SIPS-like panel, we go ahead and send the warehouse out to IKEA at 1 million square feet, right? The panels show up with these guys. They're all marked and numbered or lettered or color-coded, pre-painted, whatever, right? And they just just lock them together like a Lego, and they just build something. Done. So we're in and out, and with the material costs and everything's free and clear at this point, and you're netting out, and you're moving on. So we want to, at the 9 months mark, that's why I said we want to start doing that, and then going blending into the goal of 1 home per day to 3 homes per day from 1 location. So now we're really turning out a lot of money with not a lot of labor. And if we're talking about anywhere from $8,500 to $10,000 to build the shell of a 1,000 square foot house. Right there, those numbers start at $10 a square.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then you start adding your windows and your doors and your HVAC systems and your this and your that. You might even find you have enough money to just have a pool included into the design.
So that's phenomenal, dude. So I hope that gives investors or potential partners, right, an idea of what we're talking about, and an idea of where we're going with the company, and looking for interest, because we know there's so many people that have interest in what we're doing, and so we want to frame it up for them a little bit. So what we'd love to do is get some of that material in your hands. We'd love to send you some sample pieces, all that you need. Check it out. We encourage the conversation, connection. Call us, write us on the website, and start to talk to us about this opportunity to be with us. and because this is the beginning, and we're not gonna blow doors. We're actually gonna build doors, and it's gonna be just a phenomenal ride. And we invite you to be along with us for sure.
Yeah, once we start, it's just good. You know, it's a factory setting. It's just not going to stop for any reason. It's a freight train. It's just as long as the tracks are underneath you, you're going someplace.
Phenomenal, dude. Well, cool. Do you want to say anything else? Do you have another wrap to that, or do you like the way that came out?
I think that should be pretty much that's it. Yeah. Well, there's lots of information there to go off of.
It's a lot, right? So now break it down, and we'll look at it in different ways. And then remember, we're just experimenting with this as well. So if you go, oh, I wish I said it like this or try it like this, we'll always
revisit it later.
A million times, as many times as we need.
Yeah.
But that was really good. Maybe the only thing I need you to do is just a little bit of an ID and just a really strong, hey, this is Kevin Hodge with Hemp Adobe Homes, and you just leave it just like that, right? You don't have to do any other fill, just do just that, right? So give me one straight to the camera and give me one of those.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Still coughing stuff up in that nasty cold I had last week. Yeah.
I know I just put you on the spot. I switched you up, but and the reason why it's just really important for people just to hear you and catch you in that moment. So it's pleasing and encouraging and smart, and you're just yourself, right? But it's real direct and straight to that lens and who you are, and you're just glad that they're here.
Oh. Okay, I'll just if I gotta do it a couple times, I'll just do it.
I'll do it a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm all choked up. Isn't that weird how that happens?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It happens all the time. That's why all you can do is do it.
Yeah. Okay, hi. How you doing? I'm Kevin Hodge. I'm from Hemp Adobe Homes. I'd like to say hi again and maybe goof this up as many times as I possibly can.
Perfect. So second time, do it, and straight to the camera. Don't break eye contact. I really want to trust and believe you.
Okay. Hi, this is Kevin Hodge from Hemp Adobe Homes.
Cute. That was really cute. Same thing. One more time. Just slow down just a little bit.
Hi, this is Kevin Hodge from Hemp Adobe Homes.
Perfect. So do one more and just do that kind of that shit-eating grin that you did. That kind of like peakish. That was really cute, right? So then you got it.
Hi, this is Kevin Hodge from Hemp Adobe Homes.
Cool. All right. Cool. Good. Nice little frame. All right. What else, man? What else is cooking?
that was too weird. Kind of felt weird.
It's always a little weird. I get it.
Yeah.
And remember, you have the power because if you don't like it, we just get rid of it, right? You always have the power, and it's really true. All right, so I'm gonna turn this thing off. I'll stop the broadcast.